It never is. It's
Yeah,
never freaking that low.
I hit the record, but dude, I bought something. I don't even remember the name of those damn headset thingamajigs I bought. The little ear dongles. They don't fit in my ear very long. They just try to pop out all the time, and so I'm
That's kind of the
constantly
thing.
spinning them shits.
I'm very picky about headphones. So I go with skull candies that are like the little earbud ones that they fit in really good, and I can get a pair of them for like $10. So that way, if I fuck them up at work, it don't matter.
So they're not
You know.
expensive.
No, exactly. They're like $10, and it's like they have a pause button, and you can double tap to skip, and just I don't have to worry about charging them.
Oh,
And
and it's a headset, right?
yeah, well,
Okay.
it's wired, but you know what I mean. It's like they just poke in your ears, and they're about the only ones that stay in my ears worth of crap. Um, Most of them they don't stay in my ears. You run around at work and they just fall out.
Yeah, I mean, I tried the I forgot what the hell, but they were buds and they were wired, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just get a mic clip and I clip it to my damn shirt or whatever. It kind of works, but when you're aggressively doing work or whatever it is, those things end up being your damn way. It just
Yeah, they
tricky.
get
Just
snagged on stuff, or
yeah.
you know.
Um, but yeah, I'm trying to try to get a new phone tomorrow. But yeah, because I've almost filled this damn thing up too. It was I think it was like 36 gigs or something. It was a big, but I've almost got it filled up. Just with stupid cat pictures and or freaking computer shit or boats. I got tons of pictures of the freaking boat, but that's neither here or there. So let's try to get through our little list of shit they got, and we can just fucking chew the shit. But what I got here? What I got? We got a day for the Xbox Series X, so it's going to be on the 10th. I didn't even read this article right before I pulled it, but anyway, it's going to be on the 10th, and it's $500. The Series X, which there was a controller. Somebody actually got the new controller. They actually bought it, and so they knew from the back of that thing that there was going to be an S. It was mentioned in there, and so when you got a price tag at $300, I'm almost to the point where I know that's the same as a Switch, and I'm almost like, if you're just going to go for the cheap end, I would think 250 or two. If you could make it two, that would be like just a killer blow to Sony. I just I don't know.
It's entry level, man. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like you think about it. It's like if you, I mean, because granted, it's not going to do 4K. Or doesn't it upscale to 4K, but it doesn't actually do 4K. But even then, it's like, I mean, if you're thinking like you just want like I want to play and I know they don't even have really any exclusives, but if like maybe you didn't get too much into like the PS4 and the Xbox One, and maybe you're just like coming like maybe you skipped a generation or something. It's like it'd be perfect if you're just not seriously playing games. Um, it's all digital, doesn't matter. I mean, it's like as long as you got a good um, thing. The solid state I think was what 512 on that one.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't see that. So it's smaller, huh?
It's like a 512 solid state, I want to say, which is not. I mean, my God, the 500 gigabyte original Xbox One, it didn't take long to fill that up, especially when you've got like a 40 gigabyte patch all of a sudden coming around the corner.
Let me give you a hypothesis real here. So all those freaking like what makes so much of the damn space on the new games, so much is actually the 4K textures. That's one of the reasons why sometimes your PC download is like retarded size. But I'll just use Monster Hunter because I know that off the top of my head. It's like even with Iceborne, that's like 40 gigs as far as your standard. But if you put the 4K textures, it doubles it. It doubles it up to 80 or the high res textures. And so hopefully maybe Microsoft is still thinking that maybe that's an option because on your X1 right now that's an option. And you could tell it like, you know what, don't give me that 4K texture bullshit. You might even could do it on the older ones, the 2013s, because they're thinking that you'll upgrade and just have the damn. I don't fucking know, but the more options they have, the closer they are the PC they have. But it's guys, I always like to say, the closer they are the PC they have, the more you're freaking looking at it. It's like, why don't you just get a PC instead? But I don't know. Maybe 300 ain't very much. I still think as far as the actual, just looking at the number, that's still high for you're going to get. And I'm always worried is like, how quick will this some bitch go obsolete? It's got the same CPU in it, and I'm also worried. It's like, are you stuck at 1080p and like 30 frames on later games? You know, they might literally do it there. That's always the
Might lock
problem.
it in. I
Yeah,
think it's like 1440. I think is what this one was going to do. Um,
and
I think
how many TVs actually do that? I wonder. I know new TVs will do it, but
yeah, newer ones, but like anything over, what, 5 years. It's one of those, like, I mean, if you're like budget line, if there's something out there, like if they're on launch day, it's like, dude, you get the brand new Halo or whatever. But there's really nothing coming on launch day, so it's not like there's anything driving it. Like, you know how it is. You don't just go buy a console for the console. It's like there's got to be something that's going to make you buy it. So
greatness awaits. Okay, get it.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
But
it depends on the person. Some people are like,
they got to have it.
yeah. Or maybe you was like, well, PlayStation 4 was so hot, it did so good. It's like, well, we just know that Sony's going to do us good, and so we'll just get it day one. And you got to think about people just being bored out of their damn minds with the pandemic too. So, like, are you going to watch any sports? Fuck no. Not only are they boring, they're woke. So it's like, we're just going to play Nintendo. It's like,
Yep.
Switch $500, please.
It's like, give me that used Switch that costs more than the new one. But
Yes. So the 10.
I mean, I think if Sony wasn't in the equation, you wouldn't be seeing a $300 like
period.
Period. I think it's one of those of like, we can't make this Series X thing like, $300, but we can sure shit come out with this one that's like, it's technically the newest. If you want to play the newest games, it'll do it technically, and it's like it's only $300, and that's not a bad price point just to be like it's the newest thing.
Also, I was half suspecting that they were going to be 600. I thought the PS5 and Series X. I flip flopped over and over again, but I put down, actually, when I did my prediction, when I actually had to write it down, because I'm going to go back later on and do a video and see how many of those I got right. I got right on that because I picked 500 because I thought that they were going to drop it for the pandemic. But you could say that they drop it for the pandemic and because Halo ain't there.
Sony.
Yeah. And so, and to put pressure on Sony. Because I think if they would have came out at 600, Sony would have definitely hit 500. It would be no doubt in my mind. And so they pretty much were forced to. And this whole thing about their leaks getting exposed, no. This shit, I bet, was tactically slipped out there. And so they've announced, even then, I believe it's the 22nd is when you can pre-order it. So they won't even let you pre-order yet. Although Drew sent me a picture where it has popped up on Amazon, but you just can't get it yet. And there's a notify button. So I guess as soon as Amazon has it, he'll get an email and he can pre-order it. But Drew's the only one I know is getting one. He's a big Assassin's Creed fan, and a lot of times they just do better by Assassin's Creed on Xbox. PC, Ubisoft always destroys your CPU, not the GPU, the CPU itself on their fucking ass Creed games and their Ubisoft games. That they're just kind of they're so console oriented. And then but ass Creed's going to be 4K 60 on the Series X, and that's probably, as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of like the seals the deal. It's like if you come out with a damn 30 frames per second on your damn Xbox game, you done fucked up somehow.
Yeah, like those times are gone. It's got to be 60 frames.
Yeah, you're gonna catch hell, and even the PS4 Ratchet and Crank was now going to have a 4K 60 frames performance mode. So it was sounding to me, if I was the console player big time, I click on those performance modes every time. So there's not too many games that actually do that. I don't know if you played many games that let you to choose them. Neo had it, and so I'm like, performance instantly. I'll take the damn best frames I could get. I still think that, maybe turn off that 4K part, then you could probably ultra the damn Series X would play in super high res. I mean, super settings anyway. On a big ass frame rate, but people just want the K, man. They want that 4K.
They want it to look pretty.
Yeah. Well, I still think that if you down the resolution and up the damn everything else, I just think that 4K is just eats your power up, man. It eats your performance. But that's why you got a PC, so you could, so I could sit there and buy a fucking 380 and play 1080p at 5 million frames. That's what I want to do, I like the choices. Xbox is more about choices. They're getting closer to just saying it's a fucking PC, man. Might as well just say it.
I mean, at this point, it's like a Steam box, a really nice Steam box.
Yeah. And I bet you could sit there and make it play Steam if you wanted to. But can't let have Lord Gavin have all the money.
They want their piece of the pie.
This one was big today. So I heard about this from Drew today and Jason. I'm like, I kind of figured EA might do something like that, but it's still, even though you kind of guessed it, that's a big deal having your EA Play, which is pretty much, as far as I know, the majority of their catalog is going to be, not their like super back end catalog, but like all of their Xbox One tier games at the very least, and a lot of their PC stuff that they got on Steam is going to be on PC Game Pass and console Game Pass. And so when you have Ultimate, you get it both ways. Immediately what I thought of? That new Star Wars game.
Yeah.
And so they said, I think they said, I don't know if it's in here. They said this holiday. I don't know what the fuck that means. Which holiday? Because we just had Labor Day. There it is. This holiday. What the fuck are they talking about?
The holiday seasons. The entire season. It goes from Labor Day until, New Year's. Somewhere between here and here, it will be here.
It's like, you know what? Even if you somehow release the Star Wars game before the pass, I'll just wait. I ain't stupid, bro. I'll wait. And so we'll be able to play the Star Wars game. And if it sucks, oh well, I don't have to care. That's great. I'm half wondering if EA will now sit there and because Jim Sterling always said the standard edition of the game, that's the starter pack of the game. The microtransactions of DLCs is all what you need to have a real game. Maybe that's what they'll do from now on. Is fucking give you it's a demo essentially, $60 demo on Game Pass.
It's the stripped down version. It's the way it could be.
I mean, if you think I get to try Sims 4 now without getting pissed. I'm assuming I'll definitely get pissed when I actually play it. I'm sure.
Yeah,
and delete it.
But
I get to try it. Or even some game like, say, that UFC 4, because those games might be fun. I've never played them.
But some people love them.
Yeah.
As long as they keep their advertisement side of it, they seem to be happy.
Those are going. Those are going. That shit's gonna be out. You know what? As far as that concerned, I'm not concerned about advertisements in game. Like, when you play Saints Row, I don't know if you remember, they would show the billboards would have movies on them.
I think there was one of them that had like Inception on it way back in the day or something. I can't remember.
I remember the reboot Nightmare on Elm Street was on there.
And see, those never bothered me. I was like, I just thought it was cool that it was actually doing something. It was like you didn't even really notice it unless you're looking for it.
Or like a tie-in, like in Final Fantasy 15, one of your recipes was literally a cup of noodles, and they had like a couple noodles truck. I don't think there's no problem personally with that, but when you go to the Street Fighter V route, sir, where you're just going to put decals and shit all over people, when you're going to slow down the load screen the way Street Fighter V and 2K did, to put your advertisements in it, then you done fucked up. And just the pop-up ad is probably the most obnoxious ad you could think of, really. Besides, besides one of those unskippable like 30. Well, no, it'd be like on the YouTube. You might get a 30-minute ad. You don't know about it. I have like playing it on my phone or something while I'm driving. It's like I gotta get out this.
Yeah, because like some of them they'll be like skipping 5 seconds, and then most of the time the ad is only like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. It's kind of like, well, by the time I skip it, it's over. Sometimes it'll be like a 30-minute infomercial. So you'd be like, oh fuck. It's like, screw this.
What that? It's the soap guy. The fucking by making your balls clean or some shit. No, it wasn't Manscaped. It's the natural soap.
Oh,
yeah, I've seen that. It might have been Manscaped, but there's skippable ads. Because maybe with my new phone, I only see it from my phone because I'm an asshole. I just use ad blocker, man. I'm a dick. But like I would have to use the YouTube app on my phone because my ad blocker browser would just fuck up on YouTube. Would just put the phone in sleep. So I use the app, and so that's how I actually see these damn commercials. But you know, your pop-up shit's the most obnoxious shit you could do, and that's what they did. And they apparently
Yeah,
had
it's like it was only for like a second, but it's just annoying because it's right there in your face in the middle of the
yeah,
replays, and it's like
yeah,
seriously.
yeah, and it's the whole fucking screen. And then they had tested it like on older games, like I think UFC 3 and 2. They did a little test to see if people complain. They're not gonna complain because no one's playing this shit.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like let's see if somebody's complaining. It'd be like freaking Blizzard being like, let's see what happens if we do something to Diablo 1 and see if anybody notices. Nobody's
Yeah,
fucking playing. It doesn't matter.
yeah. Um, but I'm happy that EA, even if I don't like their games for the most part, or I think they're just they're just assholes. I'm happy they came back to Steam. I'm happy they're coming back to Game Pass, and just trying to sit there. It's like we just try to get our games out to as many people as possible. I like that more than regardless of what all they've done. They've done shit. They're probably one of the worst companies in gaming. But yeah, I like that they're just a little bit. They're coming back a little bit. See,
They're trying to. They have to every once in a while do something just to make them not look complete. That's like the Fallen Order game for Star Wars. It's like Battlefront 1 was a shit show. Battlefront 2 was even more of a shit show. And then they came out with like Fallen Order, and it was like, oh, they can actually make a decent Star Wars game when they want to. And now it's like, but you expect the next couple of ones to be shit again. So
well, they were always the ones that say that single players don't sell. No, that's not true. It's like a couple of your big games that you're pushing as single player games, like Mirror's Edge 2, they just happen to suck. If your game sucks, it ain't gonna sell, man.
yeah.
I don't know if you saw the latest Madden shit.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's the lowest user reviewed game on Metacritic. So it's beaten Warcraft. I think it's 0.2. So Warcraft only got to 0.3. And it's honestly the same old shit. Every year I like to watch the Angry Joe video because he rages about Madden. It's like a yearly tradition. I don't care about Madden. But I love to watch him, and I love other Joe has to like get back away from him because Angry Joe wants to get somebody to grab and choke him out. But it's the Madden thing is always about they're all about Ultimate Team. So all the changes and additions are to Ultimate Teams to sell card packs, and then they just neglect the fuck out of franchise mode, and they just take shit out. They just take shit out that used to be in. And then now they don't even put it back. Usually they would used to swap back and forth, but now it's all Ultimate Teams. Their new mode is called the Yard, and you can actually customize your jersey with cosmetics. So you can make it like you put like rainbow sheen in it or moss or whatever. The whole point of that, what the point of that is to sell you fucking cosmetics.
Microtransaction.
Yeah. That's the whole point. It's the only reason it's there, and it's so blatant and so obvious that. People who just want a football, they don't actually have exclusive NFL rights no more. I don't know if you knew that. They only have exclusive on Sims, so you can't have a 2K NFL. That's and I'm pretty sure that EA owns Blitz, so there's no. That would be what you want to bring back. Yeah, it ain't coming back. I've got no idea whether those Blitz that came out on 360 whether they're worth a fuck. But. I'm not a sim player for sports. I love the arcade shit. So, NBA Jam, freaking Blitz, Wayne Gretzky, they were all arcade, catch on fire, punch the other guy across the damn screen shit. Those games are just games first and they were just fun. But, freaking sports titles they're just fuck, dude.
Well, that's the thing. It starts becoming a little bit. It almost feels like you're playing as a manager because I haven't played in Madden in forever. But it's like when I would try to play one every so often just to kind of like see what it was like see what had changed. But it's like it felt more like you're a manager than actually playing, and it just I didn't give a crap about doing that.
But for a lot of people, they're all.
Oh yeah, they loved it.
Yeah, and I think that's what the franchise mode was largely about. And but they just neglected franchise. They came back and said that we're gonna do a bunch of shit to try to add the franchise. But whatever the fuck, dude. They brought back Kaepernick, even though no one actually, he's not on anyone's team. They're like, well, EA's being woke, but EA has always been woke. Well before BLM or even before the term woke or SJW was a thing, EA was, they were there, and I honestly ain't got no problem with that. I mean, you should bring back. I don't know how many people were on Ultimate Teams. Bring back every fucking body who's on Ultimate Teams. I don't play with John Namath, and we'll throw people in. We'll throw fucking Wayne Gretzky and Babe Ruth in there. Throw them all in there.
Just for fun.
Just for fun. He's done hit a home run on the footballs.
He's done kicked it all the way to the other field. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's like, and I think the last Madden that I really enjoyed was like back in the 90s. It still felt like it was like there was Super Nintendo, and there was some on N64 that wasn't bad.
Was there a Madden on N64? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was every sports game imaginable on freaking N64.
I just don't remember that one. I thought that they just went to PlayStation and were like, fuck N64. I might be wrong.
N64 had them.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm like 99%.
I think. Well, hang on. Now you got me worried.
Now I'm confused.
I don't think
I'm fairly certain.
Any EA game on N64.
Oh no, there's the EA games on N64. There's got to be shitloads of them freaking,
Madden 64 is a football game to be released on N64. So you're right.
NASCAR, knockouts. I forgot they made a James Bond game that was EA. That was pretty shitty too.
Well, you remember when they bought the remember once the Marvel vs. Capcom license went up, they bought into that because they thought that they could make the next Marvel vs. Capcom. It was some shitty X-Men fighting game that everybody instantly forgot about.
Yep, I remember it was like something Academy. It was something Mutant Academy. I remember that because I was like, "This is god awful."
It's like they have a habit. Even things they didn't ruin, franchises they didn't ruin, they would try to sneak in and ruin it anyway.
Oh, they did the same thing with The Sims. You remember when they took over from Maxis, and it was just like all of a sudden it was like, how did you take The Sims and like gut half? It's like all you had to do is just keep putting expansion packs out, and eventually just put out another game to re-clean it up a little bit.
And I'm pretty sure that Maxis was the one starting to put the packs out like a maniac, and then EA bought them, and then I had every pack for Sims 1.
Sims 2, I think, had like 47 packs. It was unreal.
Yeah. There was like 7 for Sims 1, and I would assume the problem is, I've heard people say, it's like as you stack those packs in, the bugs stack up.
Yeah.
you were articulating all kinds of goddamn spleens.
It was just shit on top of shit. Because I remember Sims 2 got like that, where it was like you had like the one where, you can go to town now, and they had like Hot for Love or whatever it was. It's like every time you would add one on it, it was just shit compiled on top of shit, and it got ridiculous.
Yeah. Sims 2 it would not be. They didn't bring that to Steam, and they didn't. So I wouldn't assume it'd be on Game Pass either. But I mean, just vanilla Sims 2 would be, I would think, one of my top 10 favorite games ever. One of these days, I'm gonna sit there and look and do that. But if you do it. Top 10, you need to kind of edit that shit together. You say number 1, and you put I'm like, that's a lot of work, dude.
It's hard to do a top. It's easier to name 10 games that you love than it is to rank them in how much you love them.
Yeah. Well, I definitely know number 1's Doom. I would traditionally say that used to be it would be Street Fighter 2 followed by Diablo 3, but I would say that Virtua Fighter 4 is way the fuck up there. It's probably my number 2 now.
It all depends on what mood you're into. You ever notice that? It's like there's been times movies are the same way. I used to swear up and down that Empire Strikes Back was my favorite movie, and now it's like I don't think it's my favorite movie.
Don't leave the team, son. It is my favorite movie.
It's up there. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite movie, but I don't think I ever need to watch it again. I love that movie, but it's like. I don't know if I need to sit down. I mean, when's the last time you sat down and watched Empire Strikes Back?
This year.
Really?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Back when they did this, what was it? The People Against George Lucas. I went and I got the pirated version they were talking about there. But when I actually went back to watch it, it looks rough, bro. It looks rough. I heard that there's a despecialized edition. Do you have them?
Yes.
Okay, I would assume that would be like almost Blu-ray quality, just with the
It's
old
pretty
stuff in it.
close. Yeah, because basically it's like they went through and did, because that's the thing is like anything past what was it 97 when they did the special editions. Um,
The next
and
time
that
you're
one
down, bring me those. Just put them on a
I'll
thumb
have
drive
to
or something.
I'll have to put them on a thumb drive because I've got them I think on my one of my servers because I
Yeah.
remember like watching them because like I couldn't stand the DVD versions. I didn't even bother with the Blu-ray versions. Um, it's one of those things. You hate to sound like the old curmudgeon of like they changed it, but when you watch those, we saw those movies so much as a kid that when a scene pops up that's different, it takes you out of it for a second. If you know what I mean, it's kind of like
Yeah.
when you would see something in like A New Hope that's like, oh, that's some CG thing that's like jumping in the background. You'd be like, well, that's different, and it's like for just a second, it takes you out of the movie, and you're just like, oh, never
Yeah.
mind. It kind of like fucks with you a little bit.
I remember watching Willow on TBS, and it was edited for time. And it wasn't like they deleted scenes; they just took out time wherever they could. You could tell
Yeah.
by the timing of everything. I'm like, I can't watch this. This is terrible. I recently watched that too. I'm so lazy these days. I just buy the digital fucking version on Amazon, and bro, that is so fucking good, man. Freaking Willow is still the shit. I love Willow.
I couldn't ever get into Willow.
You didn't think that was great? Mad Mardigan, man. Freaking.
It was okay, but like another movie that I didn't like as a kid that everybody loved was the Never-Ending Story. For some reason, I don't know.
That
It's
your
that
thing?
fantasy. It just
Yeah.
wasn't my thing. Now Beastmaster, I could watch Beastmaster all day long. I still like watching Beastmaster.
That's closer to like a well, I don't
He-Man.
know. It's closer to Conan type. I don't know,
Yeah.
high adventure, high fantasy, whatever.
Yeah. See, like those I could do, but when it came to like Never-Ending Story and Willow, for some reason they lost me along the way of just certain parts of it.
Do you remember Kroll with the glaive that
Devin
he threw?
Sorbo or whatever his name was. Wait a minute. Who
No,
was it?
that's Kroll.
Yeah, that's right. I remember Kroll.
It was
Yeah.
a ginger guy, and he's like a knight. He's kind of dressed like Luke Skywalker, honestly, but he had that glaive he could throw. That movie, I love that movie. And I've seen most of those. There's a couple I don't remember. I don't remember Labyrinth. I got it, but I didn't ever see it. But I want to see David Bowie with his cod piece or whatever.
It's the Goblin King, man.
Yeah, and I remember, and I think they've rebooted it now. There was some kind of it had Muppets in it, and it was like Dark
Crystal.
Crystal. And I think it's
something
like a reboot
else. There's like a reboot they did on it or something.
Netflix.
I think.
Yeah. I could go for a Kroll too, though. Netflix, you hearing that shit?
They're on it, man. They're they most of their stuff's pretty good. I mean, every once in a while it'd be like, but a lot of their stuff's pretty. I like it when they pick up old stuff.
Or at least they tried it, and when it was never going to happen before. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2 sucks, but hey, it exists at least. So I never thought that would happen. Wasn't good though.
I did watch the new Bill and Ted. I don't know if you like Bill and Ted, the old movies, but I did watch.
I loved the first one, and I've only ever seen the second one like one time. I think they're on Amazon.
They're on YouTube right now.
Oh, they're on YouTube for free.
Yeah,
with ads, whatever. Okay.
The first two are free with ads. Or at least they were before the third movie came out. I don't know if they changed. You never know what's YouTube's changing around, but they had them in there like free without ads.
It's outdoing Milan, by the way.
I'm not surprised.
Dude, Chinese movies used to be the shit, and I'm not talking about adding politics and whatever, but although a lot of it is, it's just I think the Chinese audience got kind of too big into CG. And so they're all like CG shit shows, and but I used to love Chinese movies, man. I used to be excited and would watch like almost anything that Blockbuster had. But dude, they've been so crap, and the martial arts is a real hit and miss these days too. Freaking, we miss Hong Kong, man.
Well, there's so many other places to get those really good like Hong Kong movies or style. I mean, even like the John Wick movies. I mean, it's like you can see that so many other places that it's really got to be something special
Well, I mean,
nowadays.
you don't. I mean, I'm talking about as far as kung fu, yeah, but it's like the wushu type shit. I mean, that
Yeah,
was always Chinese, and I think there's a lot of wushu because you see the guys just running up the damn walls and stuff because they're clearly on wires. But I just ain't got no interest at all. I've never even seen the cartoon, so
I didn't like that's like somebody was asking me about it, and I'm like, honestly, I didn't like hardly any of those cartoons from Disney growing up. Like Lion, that just wasn't my thing. I didn't care about. I think the last one I liked was like the Great Mouse Detective,
I
and then
bet if
after that, it was just I was too old, I guess.
I bet if me and you went to see them now, we would be very appreciative of the animation.
Yeah,
Even if the rest of it was because the animation, just what you see is like, wow, this is fucking incredible. Especially compared to anime, which could be like 14 frames a second, and you get like a full 30 or 24 or whatever from Disney. But it ain't my thing. I felt that I outgrew it early too. I remember this one of the old Whitesburg school trips is like because you had to do 2 school trips. So we're just going to go take you to see Aladdin. You got to go see Aladdin. You're forced against your will. And like, I'd fucking rather be in school than see this shit.
I
We
there
probably
was
pissed
one
off
of them,
somebody right now.
and you might have went on one of these field trips because it was 8th grade. And we took 2 field trips that were extended day where you had to go to school early and you got back after school was over. Um, one of them was like to Westville, and one of them was like to Andersonville, I think, or something. Um,
Andersonville was we're saying it wrong, but it's where the Alabama Civil War prison.
yeah. Um, it might have been only one field trip, and you went to both. I think what it was is it was one extended day field trip, and you went to both. I think, but I remember being on the bus, and they chartered these buses, and it's like they had the Lion King on VHS, and they played it for everybody to watch, and I was like, this, I couldn't get into it at
Yeah.
all. I mean,
Of course,
we,
of course,
we'd have been
audience,
about
don't hate us. We like the animes, and I love fucking cartoons. We love Batman. Don't hate us because we don't like Disney. That just ain't our thing, man.
I think it was an age thing because we would have been about 14 about that time. So
we're too fucking cool for it. All right.
well, probably. I mean, really, probably that's what it was. At 14, man, it's like it's kind of like I don't want to watch this. It's like Free Willy came out, and it was like you wouldn't be dead caught watching Free Willy when we were in middle school. You get freaking just beat up for even saying you watched it, probably.
I still have not to this day seen Titanic. By the way, I'm keeping the teenage fucking angst going. All right.
But I mean, I think that's what it was with a lot of that Disney. And it's like, it's not that it was bad, but it's like, I think we just reached that point where it's like we were, it was 8th grade, you didn't want to watch that stuff. You wanted to watch something cooler. Street Fighter, the animated movie, came out sometime probably not too far after that. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever.
It's ultimately Street Fighter was the gateway to get us to be anime freaking morons, Chief. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it probably was. I remember you made me watch that one day at your house, and I was like, this is awesome. Had that freaking KDM FM, soundtrack going and shit.
Yeah, it had the Alice in Chains, Them Bones, which just by itself is not very good. But if you listen to it a couple times, he's like, yeah, I really like this.
You just picture yourself as Ken in a Porsche flying down the highway.
Anyway, back to what the screen says.
It's like we digress.
25 minutes. Bro, I want this Zen 3, okay? And it's going to be announced October the 8th. I guess we'll talk a little bit about Intel, sir. Intel is fucking dropping the ball. And I love the fuck of my 4790K or 4970K. That's an i7. It's ancient by the day standard, but god dog, it was a beast, man. It's shit on everything I'd had before was AMD, and it would be like, oh well, it's freaking just your game runs like balls. But I got that.
It was almost like it's like you paid the Intel tax. Like you just like, oh, you want a good gaming setup? Got to pay the Intel tax and get it.
You have to pay the Intel, and then eventually I smarted up and pay the Nvidia tax too. And then I didn't want to go back, but Intel has fucked up so much that so I'm going with the Zen 3. I don't even know the damn numbers of what they fucking mean. I'm told Brian is like, Brian, I know we're both Intel guys, but I'm going to fucking AMD. So at least I'm not going back on the fucking graphics card. We'll talk about that in a second, but
Yeah, I ain't going back to ATI.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's and I don't even know the price, but I know that the suspicions are that this Zen 3 is going to be comparable to the Intel 10 900K. And that sucker's like a $900 damn freaking CPU
Processor. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so that's 10 core with 20 threads. I don't know what the fuck you're going to run with goddamn 10 core 20 threads. It's like, I want it though, man.
I mean, if you're into video editing, it's going to be your freaking cup of tea.
I don't edit shit.
Exactly. But I mean, I'm just saying, if you're a movie maker, I mean,
yeah.
Jesus.
And so it's probably going to be in the $400 or $500 range. So as far as comparison, it ain't comparable. It's like maybe that 10 bazillion K thing still outperforms it, but AMD is crushing their ass on performance and I guess core count too. They're able to crank out cores, and so that's October the 8th. Is when that gets announced. So that's way faster than I thought it was. I thought that I was gonna try to get a 3000 series Nvidia card, and then have to wait to be able to because I was gonna be bottleneck putting into my rig right now to get the AMD. But no, this is coming up soon, and hopefully I can grab one. If I can't get one, at least get the other. And then honestly, I'd prefer if I get cut out on the Nvidia, I would much rather get to AMD because I could just build a computer and be ready.
Yeah. Good to go.
And unlike, I don't know how much of a deal this is, but unlike Intel, the motherboards for AMD, they are PCI Express 4, while Intel's stuck with 3, and that's with the Nvidia cards coming out as PCI Express 4. That ain't, I mean, that's, people are noticing that shit. Nvidia's got to get their ball on. I think they fired their chief engineer dude. I mean, he had to go, dude. Because you're just going to release basically i7s for like 1400 years, about just 10% better than the last one.
Yeah, it's almost like I think they started resting on their laurels a little bit because they were so far ahead, say like 6 years ago, that I think they were just like, oh yeah, man, all we got to do is it's like almost like they just kind of took their foot off the gas. And they did the same thing like about 20 years ago with AMD. You remember it's like when everybody you had to have your Intel Pentium 3 and then your Pentium 4, and then the next thing you know, it's like AMD's like, dude, we got a processor for $150 that can outperform those things.
What was it? Was it the Thunderbird?
The Thunderbird, if you remember, it was like the first. I
can't remember the exact names. That's one of them. I had a 700 megahertz, 600 hertz.
Well, they went all the way up to like, I know they went at least to a 1.3 because I had that, and it was like, you could get those processors for half the freaking price, and they outperformed the current gen that they were in. And then they came out with the Athlons. If you remember, they had the Athlon XPs, and you could overclock the shit out of them on stock cooling, and you automatically had like a $300 processor that you paid $120 for.
Yeah,
and it blew away the current Pentium 4s at the time. It was insane.
But the problem, at least what I had, is that I went to the ATI card. I would get the 9800 Pro was that during that generation.
That was
pretty
the top
down.
of the line.
But I think when I cannot remember this, I want to say it was HD 4. When you start getting to the HD 4000, 5000, 6000, whatever, is it Nvidia was just beating them then. They were still, you could get a flagship card as far as AMD was concerned for like $300, $400. And so that he's like, wow, I freaking got the power. And you might look at the raw specs between the what Nvidia had, but then the games would come out and you'd have real performance with your shit drivers. And
drivers was always ATI's thing. Because do you remember when you would like go to upgrade your drivers, it would almost never fail to be a pain in the ass. Things would get pissed off. You'd have to like sometimes manually uninstall, and this was things that happened back in the 9800 Pro days. And I remember the last ATI card I had might have been like a 5995, somewhere around in that range. And I remember thinking like, oh, surely they fixed some of this shit. No, it's the same exact shit that was happening like freaking 15 years ago. And it's like, this is unreal. Like I never had this problem with old Nvidia cards, like the old GeForce cards.
Yeah.
And and still to this day, the I've got like a 1080, and it's like I don't have a problem with that. It's like upgrade drivers, you just do it. You come back 5 minutes later, and it's done, and nothing's pissed off.
Yeah, I don't let it automatically do anything. I don't have that stupid Nvidia program.
Yeah, I don't let mine automatically do it. I'll look at it every once in a while and be like, maybe if there's something I'm doing, it seems like it would help it, I'll do it. But
or just wait till the new game. Like, oh, it's like, oh, what's the next big new game I want?
I think the last
for Cyberpunk, you would definitely upgrade.
Yeah, you do one for that.
Yeah,
I did one for Resident Evil 3 remake when it came out because I think
I did too.
They came out with one right about that time.
The game ready drivers, as you know, specifically they'll name specifically, this is your game that you're about to buy. It's the big, game of the month. We have a driver for it, and it was going to just shit on whatever AMD has.
Yep.
And I had a computer built for fucking Doom 3. And that was pretty much an Nvidia game. And so you get Doom 3 in, and it just runs like shit balls. You just run like, it might have been the 9800 Pro that ran on it. It just runs like fucking down 30 frames a second. It's like, this runs like crap. And on top of that, the game sucked.
Yeah, exactly. You kept waiting for it to get good, and it never did.
Yeah, and then you get Half-Life 2 6 months later. Game shits it into the ground, and it fucking runs. I'm it's like a grab bag with ATI. I want to say AMD. It's AMD now. But anyway, Chad, they have what's called the Big Navi, and that's going to be announced, I think, the October 28th. And that's going to be the one that's going to try to compete with these new 3000 series card. You know what? It could be double the fucking performance. And half the price, and I still wouldn't get one. I don't trust it. I don't fucking trust it.
I'm not. I mean, it's like one of those things. Like it's just, and I did ATI for years, and it's just, man, I don't like those drivers. I would think at some point that they would make them better, but they don't. And I'm not fighting with. I remember like I used to have to fight with it. Like every time I would install, like update the drivers because something would be pissed. The sound would cut out of the freaking HDMI port or some stupid shit. It's just it always seemed like there was something. That you're having to do.
And suppose that they come out and they're you're going to have to undercut Nvidia. That's as a rule, you're going to undercut them. But supposing they come out and they are amazing, it's going to take. First of all, Nvidia is way more competitive and they're way more aggressive than Intel is. But on top of that, even if you continually beat them, it's going to take. They have an 80% market share. And it's going to be like take for years and years for the games to get on board where, we need to prioritize AMD. It just ain't going to happen.
No,
and so it's like a battle they can't win. And so what they're fighting for is honestly the 3060, which Nvidia's like didn't even give a fuck about. But that's going to be their, that's what I'm expecting this is competing with. It's like you're in the $300 and $400 range of the battle. But you're looking at enthusiasts. That 3070 is $500. If you just look at the price, that's ridiculous. But it's also, at least Nvidia says, it's better than the 2080 Ti. That's $1,200.
Yeah, it's like already better than like basically their flagship at this point. It's like it's half the price, and like I mean the way they're talking like almost double. Like is good which is insane. It's going to automatically. You think it's just going to be like it's going to make all the previous ones obsolete like right off the get go?
It's looking like it.
I mean, it seems like why would you even think about spending $1,200 on it if you could be like, dude, I can get this $500 card that's even better.
And a lot of people were bitching about, or they're saying that Nvidia's making them cheaper and doing such a big hype to compete with the new consoles or this big Navi thing that AMD's got. No. What happened was, and you remember this, go back 2 years, I had that 1070, which was like just humongous leap compared to the 900 series. And so I had the 1070. It was also that greatly improves VR, which used to be a thing. So.
It was a thing for about
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah, and it was like was it 20? What's 2 years ago? 2018 or whatever it is. And like, so here's the RTX, the ray tracing cards. Okay, we're introducing ray tracing, but we have no fucking performance increase, and everybody wants the next card to be the 4K, the one that's going to blow 4K out, and they don't even seem to pay attention to what 4K is, because we're going to push the new thing on, and everybody was pissed the fuck off. And so when the Jensen, the CEO, was actually doing the presentation, I watched it. He's like, "Well, you Pascal, which is the 10,000 series, it's time you guys can upgrade now." He's like, they knew that the 2000 series was a fucking overpriced kind of joke, really.
Yeah.
We laughed at them.
That's the reason I didn't bother with it.
Yeah.
I stuck with the 1080, and it was just like, dude, it's like I'm not spending that much on a freaking card and that little of in performance increase.
Yeah, it's and so I'm going with the 3080, and I've never had that high of a card before. The highest I had was the 70 version, so it's I think it's 700 for the founders. So I'm thinking that it's going to be 8 to get the. I want the Asus Strix is what I want, because I really like the Asus. I still like the active partner type cards from way back in the day, man. I still like that. And then so I want that, but and I hope I can get it. I got to just be. I know it's a Wednesday night, and it's going to go. I think it's a Thursday. It's the 17th, and so I'm going to try to be there, sitting at my computer. Make sure I get home from work early, and I'm just waiting. I'll just have Nvidia side up, and then Asus, try to probably Newegg or Amazon, have all those fucking 4 sites up, and then hopefully I get something. I doubt I will get anything, but just try to get my toenail in the door.
So you might have to do it on your phone and the computer at the same time.
It's like, hey, I got all these extra computers. They're all each one on each one. You're clicking buttons.
It's like next thing you know, you end up with like 6 of them coming in the mail.
Yeah. No pre-orders either. No pre-orders at all. Xbox tells you can pre-order it on the 22nd of September. So Drew's worried about it. I was like, Drew, you got as much as you're worried, you got it's going to be the PS5 is going to be 25. I mean, it's going to be much harder. So it's like probably I would think it's going to be 1 and 4. I think 4 PlayStations to 1 Xbox. That's my suspicion. Because Xbox ain't bringing it as far as a reason to buy that console. They just ain't.
Yeah, they're just not. I was trying to think of. I mean, it's. I don't know, man. It's like you've reached that point of diminishing returns, and then they come out with these new Nvidia cards, and they're like, "Oh, holy shit! Maybe we haven't. Maybe we're getting more of a upgrade than we think." But I mean, PC just seems like the way to go with that.
Yeah, but the price, dude, is still there. So it's like, you better be to get a nice computer. You better be sitting on a decent power of money. Because if you're looking at 800 for the fucking just a card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you're willing to go 1080, you don't need 800. But shit, if you're going in, go in, man.
Yeah, exactly. But even then, it's like you look at that $500 card, and you're just like, $500 sounds like a lot, and I mean it is. But for what they're saying the quality of that card is going to be, it's like, holy cow, that's a lot compared to the old $1,200 card that they're saying it's going to smoke pretty much. I mean, especially if you've already got a decent computer maybe, and you could upgrade and build around that card, kind of thing.
Or just if you buy a fucking big ass car like that, you really don't need the next one down the line. And so you're still looking at like maybe 2 or even 3 generations. So you're looking at 4 to 6 years where even if you continuously upgrade and want the damn top performance. It's like 4 or 6 years where you're going to still max and blow out everything. The guy next to you might have bigger shit, but your shit's pretty damn good at what it needs to do.
And it's like it's almost for people like me that skip the 2000 series, where it's like, I'm not getting into that, but I've got a 1080, and it's like, oh, well, not only is this going to blow the 280, the 2080, it's like it's definitely going to smoke an old 1080.
Yeah.
And so for as far as like if you're looking like I got $500 this holiday season, and I'm either gonna buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, or one of those $500 entry level cards. It's like, to me, it'd be like, I'm getting an entry level card. I can build around my PC. I can upgrade my PC around it, and I've still got a good processor.
What's your processor?
It's like an i7 7600.
Oh yeah, so that's yeah.
So it's like it's one of those like it bottleneck the GPU a little bit, but like I can, there's still upgrade room. You know what I mean? Like I could always work around that card for a while.
And it's weird. Your bottleneck is varied on what resolution. So if you went to the lower resolution with a higher frame rate, like over 100, your CPU starts being important again to get the frame rate that high.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't bottleneck at all if you played like in 2K or whatever like that. I've got to consider whether I want a new monitor. I just bought this one not too long ago. So it's a 1080p, but it's 165 hertz and adaptive sync, but it actually works with G-Sync. Dude, I love that adaptive sync shit, man. Because there's no fucking screen tearing, and it's smooth as fuck, and there's no input lag. So it's like, that's what I'm running with, no matter what.
That's the trick. Is the screen tearing thing. It's like, I know some people can be like, I just want max frames, but it's like for some reason that tearing it drove me nuts. When I would see it, I'd be like, okay, I just need to scale this down.
Yeah. And I don't know how much emulators you play still, but you have to have the shit that's the screen VSync off because the input delay is so noticeable.
Yeah.
And you'll notice as you're playing, it doesn't like flicker all the time. It's like a line. It slowly goes up the screen. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I've played plenty of games with the screen tearing, all up in my face like that. But this for it to be gone, it's so nice, man.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Because I couldn't play with vertical sync on a platformer. It's not happening, man. It's just and
throw your tablet all off.
Yep. And slowly the TVs are getting that shit. And so Brian's going to get that new TV, the TLC. I think I talked to you about it. It's not a true HDMI 2.1, but it has like variable refresh and low latency mode. It's like, I don't know when it's like almost there. I don't know. It's like, why the fuck didn't you just put a little bit more effort into it and get it 2.1? But I'm thinking next year,
cheap, man.
Yeah,
that's the whole TCL, whatever. It's like, it always seems like it's going to be pretty good and it's going to be fairly cheap. And I'm sure it has something to do with the fact of like, we could do this, but it wouldn't be cheap anymore.
Yeah, they're competing with Vizio, but they've just outclassed Vizio in my opinion.
I love the one I got. My daughter's got one in her room. She likes it.
So you bought two now?
Yeah. But I liked it after I saw yours, and I ended up getting one that was like the 65-inch. I think it's the one I got in the den. But I like the built-in Roku thing. And it looks good.
You can talk to it.
Yeah.
You can talk to it. Yeah.
I never do. You can, but I'm lazy.
He's too lazy to talk to it.
It's like, I remember like we were talking about light switches and you're like, I don't want to talk to a robot. And I do have the Alexa thing hooked up in the den for like ceiling fan. We have cathedral ceilings, kind of like your ceilings, where it's like, you ain't climbing up there to freaking change speeds, but like anything that, you ain't got to do. It's like, I'm lazy when it comes to that. But like when it comes to looking up stuff on like to watch stuff, I'm pretty lazy about that.
I do appreciate you fixing my light switch, man, so you solved the 38-year problem.
I don't know if I solved it. I just made it better. I still don't know what was going on. I just made it where one did one and one did the other. I still don't know what the hell the original plan that whoever did that was.
Yeah. I ended up, that like LED light that's like real bright, that lamp I got next to the other computer.
Yeah,
I got another one for at the far end, dude. I love those things. And so,
there's that's like at some point a couple of years ago, I started going and getting LED bulbs for like everywhere in the house. Like once I started, I couldn't stop.
Yeah,
I switched over all of them because it's and I would get the ones that were the cool, like, so it's
that's what I do too.
It's like a very clean, bright white light, and it's like it's just something about it. It's like I just started doing them all around the house because it's like once I did, the other ones looked dingy. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that vintage tint, that little orangey look. I ended up doing
warm or whatever. Yeah, the warm look. And there's some LED. I have a little like night stool lamp that you can change it on if you're reading, so you can switch out to get to the color you like. But dude, I just love that, and so of course the lights that you fixed they were all nice LEDs, and so I could make the house bright if I want, and then dark if I want, and so it's real freaking nice, isn't it? But yeah, I appreciate that shit. How did we get so far off of what we were?
I don't even know. Where were we at? Oh yeah, we're talking about video cards.
Video cards.
Because you're gonna have to straight wire one into your house to get the power to run it, probably.
The Strix, okay, not the Founders Edition Nvidia, but the actual Asus Strix one. I think it takes 3 of those 8-prong pins. So I'm going literally from 1 in my Strix 1070 to 3. I believe that's what it says anyway. And like each Strix has like its own. Each pin has its own little light, so it'll beep up to say if it's not getting wattage. So it'll tell you that your dick's too small and you need a bigger.
Yeah, you need a bigger power supply. It is not going to like those cheap Chinese power supplies that you could put in those. It's like, oh man, it maxes out at 1,000 watts, and then it's like you check it and it's like, yeah, it might get to 1,000 one time for 5 seconds.
Yeah. One of the things we will not skip out. Now, I remember that tower I gave to you, like there was like, I think I got it in 2008 with the damn proprietary power supply when you could pull the damn switches. I mean the wires out. We are definitely getting one of those.
Oh yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
That's one thing you can't. A lot of people, like back when I was building computers for people, they would want to cheap out on the power supply, and you're like, oh man, this Antec one looks fine. It says it'll do like, and Antec's great, but it's like it's like, dude, just buy an expensive power supply. It's just the cable management's so much easier if you just put a little bit more money into it. Never get some brand that you've never heard of, because it will just fucking burn up and sometimes take shit with it.
Yeah.
I had one time take a freaking hard drive, completely destroyed the hard drive with it.
Oh, that sucks, man.
What it basically did is like I'd leave my computer on for a server, and I came in one morning and my computer was constantly just resetting, just reset. And I was like, what the hell? And basically what it did was it was an older cylinder drive, and it was every time it would boot, it spins up the drive. So literally it was resetting over and over again so fast that it just kept booting up the drive real fast and cutting it off. It fucking trashed the entire drive. I couldn't get anything off of it. And I was like, and that was like I want to say it was an Antec power supply, but it wasn't one of their like nicer ones. It was just like one of their budget lines that I'd thrown in there. And I was like, never again. It just not worth it.
But I think if you had a 1070 Intel card and then the 380 Asus Strix, they recommended a 750 watt. It's like, we're getting up there, bro, on the freaking wattages. So I think I've had a damn 1200. I've had a stupid one sometime. I remember one I had racing stripe, and I remember telling Brian. No, Brian was going to get the 1200. It's like, Brian, you're just getting that for the racing stripe. He's like, no, there ain't no racing stripe on him. It's like, you're getting it for the racing stripe, Brian.
Was it a yellow racing stripe?
Yeah.
I remember those power supplies.
And then when he got it, he had to say, it's got a racing stripe on it.
It makes it look like it's going faster than it really is. That's what it was.
Today it's going to have an RGB racing stripe.
Now it's going to have like flames on the side of it to make it look like it's like it's powering faster than it really is.
And when I get that motherboard, it's going to have that LED readout to tell me what the fuck's wrong with it. I think I used to be lazy as fuck. You just get the damn codes.
The beeps. The beeps.
I don't need no beeps. Just give me the freaking LED readout code so I can just sit there and see what the hell what's going on. But see, I remember I got those 2 computers pretty much back to back, and so I built one myself, and then I was still recording on like a dual core, and it ate my videos, and I was in this guy a 5, and it was like video 87 or some ridiculous shit like that. You ate my 87th video. I said a complete playthrough, and then I'm actually lying to the people who watch it. So I was belligerent pissed, and I had Brian. I said, Brian, I think it was like $1,400 go, and then he got me the maximum he did, but he did some dumb shit, man, because it was supposed to be a multimedia PC. It's supposed to have a Blu-ray. I had the Blu-ray player already, and so he gets me a water cooler PC. I mean, water cooling case and no fucking no place to put the damn 5.5 drives or whatever. No place to put the Blu-ray drive. It's like
Yeah.
Byron, you know, fucked up.
Well, that's like cases these days. I mean, is it the NZTs or whatever you see so many people use? That's what I got. And the
This
only
will
reason
not
I
be an NZT. Remember, because it's solid white. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
that's the way mine is, and the only reason I got it is because I got a really good deal on it.
That's what I'm sure we did too.
Like I got it at the flea market. Some dude that was like had a computer company went out of business, and he was like just stuff that he was just liquidating inventory like crazy. Um, and I think I got like the case and a power supply and like some other stuff for like 30-40 bucks, and it was just like it was brand new in the box, like never even been opened. But I remember being like, oh crap, there's like no place for a DVD drive to burn disc or anything. So I do have a slim drive, a USB slim drive. For every once in a while, somebody will be like, can you burn this on a disc for me? And I'll be like, are you serious? But every once in a while, it does come up.
Yeah. So yeah, I bought me one of those too. They had like 2 USB ports on it. But it's a flaming piece of shit too. So
yeah, they're not exactly. I think I use it about once a year. Every once in a while, somebody will be like, I need this put on it. Can you convert this to a disc? And it'd be like, why? And it'd be like, there'll be some reason why it needs to be on a disc, and it'd be like, whatever, hand it to me, you know.
Yeah. And of course, something like that might be helpful if you're looking at somebody else's computer. You just something you think's wrong, you just plug that sucker in, and you know you could get at least some kind of data on there if you needed to. Yeah, when we get our damn, I'm still gonna let Brian build it because he'll do cable management better than I can. And honestly, Brian, I like it when you open shit up like a kid. He's getting computer shit. He's going excited. He's like a kid at the candy store. But I'm picking all the fucking pieces, and I'm gonna order them too. But we're gonna get a nice case because I have, even though this seems to be advertised as NXT, whatever the hell, I think it's a piece of shit. The cheap ass screws, cheap freaking damn with the covers on it, and so we're gonna get something nice. And you know what? I pretty much have. I've never had any RGB shit because you know when I built these computers, RGB wasn't a thing. So we'll get the stupid goofy shit. Figure that if that is even a thing. I think it's coming out of style now.
It's a lot of people are going to like just plain black or plain white because of like, it's kind of like cars. It's like, oh man, look at that Ricer. He's got stupid shit.
Yeah.
Those cases are NZXT. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But
unimpressed.
My nephew, I forget what brand case he got. It might have been a Raid Max or something. It had all the RGB stuff with a freaking remote, and I have to admit it was actually kind of cool. Like you could change the colors, or you could make it do like rainbows and stuff. And I was like, nothing that I would care about, but I thought it was cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kind of one of those because like my main computer runs as a server also in my living room, so it's like I would not want all that shit on it because it'd just make the room bright.
Well, I mean, so my mouse. I have a nice Logitech mouse and a nice Logitech keyboard, and they do that freaking shit. But also they do what the fuck you want. So you don't have to be a blazing fucking retard. You could just, I have it where the keyboard lights up. The number keys are green, the arrow keys are blue, and like the WSD is red, and then the functions are purple. I would never actually. I think it's dumb to play in the dark because that screen's going to blow your eyeballs out, but it's there in case you want it. And it's so proud of the number bottle it is. It fucking gives you that in the fucking blue glow too.
Yep. That's 602 or whatever it is, 7. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so I let the mouse kind of does. You can just tell it from firmware. But when I got Drew his last computer, we made sure to get a nice RGB case because he had the little remote and he figured that shit out instantly. And so he had it glowing red because go dogs. But I'll get me some kind of goofy shit, but I'm not gonna have it like spazzing out. And one of the things I was watching, a YouTuber, he's kind of like Linus Tech Tips. You know Linus, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But his name is J No Sense or whatever. He's kind of a big dude. And then I always like his videos, and so I'm sitting there watching his super setup, and he's using, and apparently a lot of people do this. They're just getting 2 file cabinets and putting a tabletop on the shit, and said this is the most amount of space you could possibly get. And I'm like, really? And so even his super setup is doing that. I'm like, you know what? That would probably help me with what I'm doing. So let me show you, and I'm not going to play the audio, but you've seen this a million times. I mean, you've seen my house, but a lot of people haven't. Um, I keep 4 setups, basically 4 PC setups, and so that's what I'm showing right here. And my basic logic for doing that was back in the day, when 360 became a big thing. It's like back in the day when we used to split screen, man. We would split screen, even Call of Duty 2 and like Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. That was an amazing ass game. Those early Xboxes, of course, N64 as well, and there was Dreamcast. We would split screen, and during your original Xbox OG days, they got more concerned a little bit by the graphics. So even though Halo had a split screen, a lot of the other first-person shooters or other games, they didn't have split screens. They wanted you to play on LAN or on live. And finally, I decided, you know what? That's where we need to make our setup, because I was at the time so pissed off about the laggy ass HD TVs, the regular DLPs, LCDs. That's a whole fucking thing. I don't want to get into that. But I'm like, you know what? Everybody is going to have their own fucking monitor, their own place to sit. And I'm going to make it so where if you want to bring over your Xbox, you can. Or if you want to bring over your PC, you can. And I'll just have all the shit, all of the things hooked up. And I had a whole room in my apartment, a whole extra room, the extra bedroom, just dedicated to that. And it was like a computer lab is what it looks like. And so when I got here, I didn't want it, it's in my living room. And I'm like, this is badass in my living room, like here. But at the same time, it could also look fucking gaudy and ridiculous. And so I made sure to get these nice desks, these 3-tier desks. And the first one I got was some Staples. I think I got these at Wayfair. And I didn't like the glass, but it was the only way that was still offered. And I was so set on the 3-tier. And I didn't particularly like, this is a cherry color. You can't really tell until they get a lot of light on it, but it's actually cherry. But I was like, dude, I got to have these desks. And so I can't remember what they were. They were not that expensive. So I got all 3 of the fucking desks and I'll put them together. And so when I first got that done in 2017, it looked really nice. But then if you don't dust it, you see the dust? You see the dust here, the cables and all this shit? I'm like, yo, I'm losing control. This is my living room, and it looks like it does look like a mad science lab. Even if the desk itself looks nice, I've got stupid shit on it.
There's stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And glass will always just have fingerprints.
And not even so much the fingerprints, the dust builds up. And even though I just dusted out a couple weeks ago, it's already like there. And so I'm like, you know what? I need to do something about this. You see all this shit here. And so I'm set my mind. I've watched enough other YouTuber setups. I don't have to have like super rainbow colored amazingness that some of these streamers have, but I'm gonna try to get better. And wait, can I go back a second? Like I've already fixed this. This was those assholes. It's glass panel, and you're gonna put some super duper stick thing on there. It tells you don't break the glass. It says don't break this glass. I'm like, I know not to break the fucking glass, asshole. I didn't want to use a straight ledger, but I did. It didn't scratch though. Thank goodness. I got a brand new one, and I layered that shit down with that orange Kubi con, man. Yep. And then it's like freaking almost like perpendicular to the surface, because if you're going straight down, you're going to probably scratch the shit out of it. Yeah. And I got that off. I've got to fix all this stuff still. For there's big ass damn power supplies like that right there. I'm gonna try. There's actually it's called a cable management box, so I'm gonna try them. I've ordered one, and I measured the dimensions because that big ass freaking like Staples Belkin power strip, that thing's humongous.
Oh yeah, they're massive.
Yeah, and Big Kitty actually pistoned one upstairs, and I'm surprised it didn't kill her, dude. But I found it out later, and she had burnt the motherfucker up.
I was about to say the smell, probably.
Yeah, yeah, she burnt that fucker up. She was taking poops on it too, but she would go behind the TV, so I didn't know.
It
And
was
I didn't
warm, man.
I didn't always know that I didn't go into that room that much. I just had the door open. Cats want all the fucking rooms in the house open all the time. And she went up there and she was secretly poo-poo in there, and then pee-peed in there. She fried that motherfucker out, and she actually burnt the carpet. I'm like, kid, this could have been a catastrophe. This could have been real bad. So I'm gonna put them in the box. They don't heat it's up as far as I know, so I think they'll be safe in the box. What I'm more worried about as far as like heat is concerned and putting things in the box is like a network switch. You know what I'm talking about, or a hub, however you want to call it. Those heat up, and so I'm a little worried about that. But I'm gonna put that in the box too, and hopefully it'll be good. And then what I'll have to do is I've got so many cables, and there's enough. I guess we'll call it girth. There's enough girth in the cables I've got going. I'm gonna sleeve them as opposed to putting a bunch of damn bread ties on them.
I would get some of those Velcro strips.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Those are usually pretty good. I'll tell you what you need to do is your power box. It's like milk crate. Just take a milk crate, turn it upside down, sit on top of it. Kitties can't get onto it then, and it can breathe. Of course, it'd look absolutely ridiculous and trashy, but you know.
There's these. Let me see if I can go to the video. Let it go here. I have stashed some shit like that. Let me see if I get back around. Let's go to these things. Come on, YouTube. You see this shit right here? There's like a standard size, like a fucking square foot, and there's tons of things at Target. Target literally has an entire aisle that's like dedicated to like shelves and stuff, about a square foot long. And there's like these little things you could buy, these like cubby stashies that you can put files in. You know, if you flip it upside down and cut it open or whatever, you just flip it upside down, you could cover up boxes that way. And so we'll do stuff like that. I'm gonna do everything that does not involve mounting it. I don't want to mount it, and I don't want to freaking paste it to no sticky shit, no adhesives. And we'll see what we can do there. But I just got shit every fucking where. Some of this is like literally the cable's too short, and I just need to get a longer cable.
Yeah, just get an extension for it or something, or a longer cable, just to make it a little bit more manageable.
And then so when right here, I'm gonna get. I've already got 2 filing cabinets. I'm going to need a tabletop here, and then another one right here, and make it L. And it's going to be a big ass L. And so it's like 96 inches this way, so that's 8 feet by 60, which I think is like 5 or 6, I believe. I can't. My math is fucked up, but yeah, that's what we're going to do. And you know, you think I'm hoping it could still look ghetto, but I've seen other people's setups, and you know, it doesn't look ghetto. The only difference is I'm using a 3-tier filing cabinet. It has an extra little shelf on top because, you know, your height is important.
Yeah.
The standard,
to make it comfortable.
Yeah. The standard height for the table is 29 inches or a desk. And so that's the 29. My only worry is I've always gamed, I guess, at 26 right here with the pull out. And one of the reasons I always loved this was that 3rd-tier pull out was that, you know, how many desks have you seen with a fucking keyboard is like, you can't even get a goddamn gaming keyboard on this fucking little piece of shit.
Yeah, they're a little narrow.
It's like
you know, they're only about 15 inches wide.
Yeah.
I used to do the same thing, and then over the years, I transitioned to not having it right there on that lower tier.
And so you're right here.
After a while, it's like I just went. It's like I forgot about it. But I know what you're talking about. Back in the day, that was my go-to. I liked it right there next to the keyboard. Same level and everything, but after not doing it, it kind of you phase it out of your head.
Yeah, because that when I don't game much in the living room as far as keyboard and mouse, but I just use a little table, like a freaking. There ain't nothing better than a gaming wireless keyboard and a gaming wireless mouse just on a little table and right in front of the big TV. You know, people bitch about, I don't want to sit at a desk or whatever. It's like, no, you can come up with damn tricks to freaking make your TV into a giant PC. You know,
that's what I did with mine. Yeah. I'll send you a picture of mine one day. It's like I went to visit Will one time in Biloxi, and he was using his TV as his monitor, and had wireless keyboard and mouse. And I was like, as soon as I got home, I was like, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
It's like once you start doing it, you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, of course, you know, with it being like that, it's like, okay, you can sit as far away or up front if you want to. It's not, there's still not a nice solution as far as I'm concerned as being a lazy fuck sitting on your couch with a keyboard. I mean, there's things out there. It's just not really, I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're trying to do. Honestly, if you're trying to play an aggressive competitive game, you're going to get your ass kicked being that relaxed,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, yes. Or if you could make sort of like a camera over like your shit, like the way I did here, and then we could do a video about that. And so, because people just love looking at your other people's setups and shit like that. So
I'll have to do one because I've got one set up in my closet, which is where I record at. But as far as like my main computer, it's like with all my good specs on it. There's Brian.
This is a terrible camera phone, but yeah, go ahead.
But anyway, it's like on that one, it's like I've got it. It's like a 65 inch. And what I did is I went to it was either Walmart or Target, and basically got like a little table, like a teeny, like I mean, it's only like 10 or 12 inches off the ground. And one of those video rockers, and I had to find one that was comfortable because all them things ain't comfortable as hell. But I put a wireless mouse and a keyboard on it, and then I just sit there, and I can move it all the way across the den if I need to or whatever. Yeah. And it's like that's where I usually play up most of my stuff. Like if I'm playing on Steam, I'll play on that.
Now, do you sit like cross-legged or what?
No, I just sit in that video rocker with my feet like just on the floor.
Okay.
It's one of those like low, like you're.
I got you. Yeah.
And it's like if you find the right video rocker that doesn't make your back hurt, it's pretty good. It's tricky though because some of those things are like really curved and they're just not comfortable at all. But as far as like if I'm playing Steam or something, if I'm using a controller, I'll just go lay on the couch or on the recliner or something like that.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what I'm playing.
Yeah, there's way too many people who are picky to think that you have to play your console games in the living room and you have to play your computer games at your computer. It's like, no, you don't. No, you fucking don't.
I'll tell you, man, once I did that at Will's house, I was like, dude, that's what I'm doing. And then I just leave that PC running all the time because I use it as a server. So it just stays running all the time now.
My computer, well, it might be a Windows 10 problem, but I've only had it on this one computer, this main one. It'll turn on its own. And I'm not sure exactly what the fuck, but I'm just saying, hey, shut down. I don't stop it. And say, no, it'll turn on its own. But one thing I noticed that you could do is if it was off on its own, is that, and it says shut down. It's not in a rest mode, not in a Windows rest mode.
So it's in actual shutdown. It's cut off.
It's in actual shutdown. But if you somehow or another wanted to access, if you're on the network and you wanted to access this hard drive, you could go to another computer, click on the hard drive. It'll get pissed off. It says, oh, we can't get to it. But it will turn that computer on.
It'll boot it up, yeah.
Yeah, it'll boot it up. And I don't know if that was some crazy goofy shit that Brian got me in this rig. I don't really like it. I don't know what the fuck exactly it is. I've never actually went through and solved the problem, but it's something that annoys me.
Well, that's like mine. It goes into like that stasis of like half asleep kind of mode. So the hard drive's still activated, or well, one of the server hard drives is activated. So that way, like all the TVs in the house, I have a Plex server, so I can just like, if I have a movie, I just throw it on that Plex server or a TV show or whatever.
Yeah, I was at one time I was going to do NAS, Network Assisted Storage, and I was there. I was excited because like. You know what? I don't have to have a computer on. I could just have this fucker and then just whatever computer I want, just pull up whatever I need. I was just gonna put animes and stuff on there.
Yeah.
That shit ate my goddamn fucking information though. It ate
your bandwidth.
Yeah. Well, no, not the bandwidth. It actually ate the information in the fucking. It transcribed it all into a non-Windows format. That's its first and major fuck up.
Yeah.
And then the NAS thing itself exploded or didn't work or whatever it was. I only had like one where you can get 2 hard drives. It was not a big fancy one. But I'm sitting there, okay, my NAS doesn't work, and I'm going to have to get this motherfucking information off. And it would have to use the kind of shit that you would do if you was going after a damaged hard drive. Crazy shit. I'm
Yeah,
like,
like a
man, this is
recovery software.
It was just, I'm like, this is not fucking worth it. And so I also got good pornos, bro. And I had backup of anime. I had not deleted anime yet, but I did. Some of my pornos was gone. I was like, God damn it, this is annoying. Thank God I had backup of a music. I had backup on disc of music. I would have been fucking
Sometimes that's the hardest
enraged.
stuff to find is like some of the soundtracks and stuff.
Yeah. I would lose my damn mind. I've got shit literally I've gotten and found it from Napster like literally that long ago. I would
Oh
have
yeah.
lost my damn mind. Or what was the fat guy who did the damn illegal shit? It wasn't the Pirate Bay guy. It was the other guy. He had his own fucking little island.
The Mega Upload guy.
Mega Upload. There was stuff I'd gotten from Mega Upload before it got blown up. I was like, I do not want to lose this shit. But that NOS ate that fucker. I was pissed. So I'm not went back to NOS since then. Maybe if there's like if it kept the Windows format, maybe one day. But it's just turn it off. With these damn fast ass computers, just the SSDs, just turn this fucker on and just go with it, man.
Yep. That's like mine. It's like I've got like a 4 terabyte hard drive that's just all it is a server drive, and it's broken down like movies and TV shows and like people in the house and stuff, and it's just like drag and drop, copy it over, and I make backups occasionally just to have backups. And then like every TV in the house can like hit it, and I can actually, yeah, it's like because they just go to the Plex server and it's like bam, it's right there. That's like my daughter all the time. She'll be like, there'll be a movie she wants to watch. I'm like, it's on the server, and she'll be like, okay, yeah, she just watch it. You can access it through your phone too if you like want to pay for like a subscription to like Plex or whatever, but like I'm never bothering with that. I just use their server software to do it locally.
I pretty much can do the same thing. I still got that problem where I do not have a lot of fucking speed on my LAN, and I'm not. I have to suspect. I haven't really looked into it, but I have to suspect it's like goddamn shitty AT&T monolith fucking router piece of shit.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, it's something in that thing.
Because mom and dad has one of those where it's like it's like this is the router, it's built into the cable modem, and it's just very limited.
I might wait a couple years and then call up AT&T and see if they've got a better solution. Because Russell does not have I think it's called the U-verse, which is it's just a different speed differences on that shit is. But Russell does have a damn regular AT&T and router and modem, but at the same time his damn he does not get the fucking 25 that I get, even though he's closer to town. I think he gets 6 now. I think. And then he does, or maybe it's 1.5. It's enough to be barely in there.
But, just barely enough to be like, this is broadband.
Still better than satellite. What's Trump saying? We're going to build a bunch of towers because AT&T owns our fucking. AT&T's our Lord and Emperor around here. We have to bow down and pay to their fucking ass. Pay tribute to them because otherwise you get fucking satellite bullshit. It's fucking satellite bullshit. It's gonna make you just grovel at AT&T's feet and they suck their ding dings because God dog, fuck them satellites. You can't do anything.
Oh, it's horrible. Mom and Dad's has something else that's coming out near their house, so I don't know if it'd be coming out to near where you live. But like they're in that same boat. It's like it's this or nothing. This is AT&T or nothing, and I think it's I don't know if it's U-verse part of AT&T, but supposedly it's supposed to be faster because theirs, even if you have the fastest speed, it's not that good.
Yeah.
But they're in that same boat where it's like there's like where we live, you got plenty of options. There's like 3 or 4 options in town, so you just kind of you find the one that's best for you and that you hate the least.
Yeah.
One of the last ones we had years ago, they started implementing like bandwidth limits, and it's like once they started that, and it was like they kept sending like warnings of like if you exceed this, like we're going to start charging you an extra like amount or whatever. And one of the other companies was like, oh, we can do the same speed for the same price and we have no limits. It was like, okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, for now anyway. You know what Russell's is? 128 gigabyte. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That does not take long to fill up, because I remember when we were with the other company, theirs was like 300 and something, and this was like years ago. Like it was like it would have been before 4K streaming, so it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And theirs was like 250 or something like that. And it's like, you don't realize, especially when you got a lot of people, like, between Elizabeth and the two kids streaming like Netflix or whatever, or Hulu, that shit don't take long, especially if you start downloading a bunch of stuff. I mean, hell, that's 120. What is that, like 2 or 3 Xbox games if you downloaded them?
Bro, Modern Warfare Warzone is 200.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's like that's one, and you're done for a month. I mean, it's like, for real, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's DSL. See, mine's is a terabyte, but my DSL is 25 up. So it's like I don't even know if I could hit it if I was 24/7. If I could.
You'd have to leave it running all the way free. It's like if you had something nonstop, you probably still wouldn't hit that. And I remember, like, the company, when we switched, the previous company was like, well, we're only sending those warnings out. We're not actually going to start charging people. And I was just like, dude, if you're sending warnings out, you're going to within about like a year or so. And from what I understand, like about a year after we changed over to another company, they started charging, like, they just wanted you to get like the updated plan,
Yeah. There's just the competition is not there. It's AT&T or nothing, and then they own your soul, and so there's no push to try to get the towers up, and so you're only going to get the competition in those big cities, and so then in the cities there is a choice. So even though Drew, Comcast is the evil devil. They're all evil devils. Comcast is particularly an evil devil, but Drew gets he gets beast. I don't know what the fuck it was. I was like 200,
like I said,
200 or 300.
Yeah, you pick the one that you hate the least. They've all got problems. It's like, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, ours, seriously, all we pay for is internet, because we cut the cord a couple of years ago. And I mean, it's like something ridiculous, like $60-$70 a month just for internet. And of course, they're like, we could do it cheaper if you got like cable and a phone line installed. And it was like,
that's not cheaper.
That's cheaper for my internet, but I'm still going to be paying more because I'm going to be paying for that. And it's just like, and the service was like, it was okay, but like, we never watch live TV anymore. We just stream everything. So it's like, screw it.
Hell, that's the way to do it, man. And you're kind of pissed off when they don't follow the rules that you're used to. It's like, okay, The Boys season 2's come out. Yo, I love the fucking Boys. I don't know if you've seen it. It's freaking awesome. But it's not going to be done until October the 9th. I was like, okay, well, I guess it's coming out on October the 9th then, because I'm not going to watch, one episode at a time. I'm too fucking fancy for that these days, man. Speaking of fancy, I bought an 8 terabyte external. Do you know how the freaking internal 8 terabytes are expensive as fuck, man? They seem like shit.
It's funny. It's like, because like a terabyte hard drive, I mean, that's kind of been the standard for how long now? Like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's like the price would on hard drives, the price would always stay like right about $100, and the size would go up. It seems like they have not gone. It hasn't been that case over the past 4 or 5 years. It's like, holy crap, like a terabyte still like pretty expensive.
Yeah. And then so I'm just going to get the external again. And I'm hoping that USB powered strip you got, I've got one ordered. I think it's coming tomorrow. USB
the one
3.0.
that's got so many on it.
Yeah. USB 3.0 charges all your shit. And so I'm hoping that I can start sliding some crap in there, because every single fucking USB port is taken on my PC with either dumb shit or the external. I'm hoping that maybe you could plug the external in there and not need power. I don't know how this shit works. So we'll just plug it in and see if it pops up. Like for my wireless mouses and keyboards, because they're nice. They're real nice. And so you want to get that dongle off of that freaking PC. It just, I don't know whether it's just the physical metal. It just destroys the signal. So you have to have like a USB extension cord with the dongle on it. And then, so hopefully I can just plug that. Let's see if we can plug that in there. Of course, thumb drives are out the ass. But I got that 8 terabyte. I'm going to get all of my animes together, because I thought I was future-proofing back today when I was burning them shits to Blu-ray disc. No, Steve,
yeah.
You're fucking up. Never mind that a dual layer, or even I don't know, they might go quad these days. But a dual layer Blu-ray takes a bazillion years to burn, I think. And then I don't know what the price was, but it was outrageous. It was like $30 a disc when they first came out. And so the regular Blu-ray was cheap, 25 gigs, all it is. You know what? A thumb drive is going to melt that down these days.
Yeah.
So I've got animes separated on disc. We don't get them shits out. I got lazy as fuck. I'm pretty much all digital now. I was an early adopter of burning shit, of burning DVDs back in the day. And so I've got those damn giant freaking music binders, and I've got like 5 or 6 of them, and they're just packed full. And so to find something, I have to figure out what binder it's in.
To track it down.
Yeah. Like I have 2 binders for foreign movies, and so it's like, okay, gotta check at least, what is it, 500 discs. Hopefully I don't go through all 500 discs, but there will be times where I'm just looking through and I miss it because it's like 8 per page or whatever, and I just miss it. And I have to go check it 3 or 4 times to find it. So it's like, and it would just be DVD quality, which is okay. I still think that looks pretty good, but
yeah, there's a lot of times where it's like, I'll be downloading something and it's like, still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the way I was when I first bought a CDR burner, because you remember I had a CDR burner like really early
back
on.
in the day, and I was like, could you possibly put all the good Nirvana stuff on one CD, sir? He's like, yeah, watch me. 1 hour later, I got
45 minutes later. That is if it didn't the buffer run out.
I remember
and,
that.
I remember that.
Up. Yeah.
You had to buy some good damn disc, because if you bought the cheap disc, it was like it fucked up. Yep. But I remember like when I got a DVD burner, I was like, because I had a stack of like backup CDs for like where I just backed up stuff at like 700 megabytes a pop, and you'd be backing up stuff like crazy. You'd have a stack of CDs and it was like DVD burner. It's like, oh man, I can go 4-to-1 on this shit. It's like, just start copying them over. But now it's like, just throw you an external hard drive hooked up into it or whatever. Just, get you one of them docking stations. I got one of those for hard drives also. It'll hold like 2 of them.
Oh,
it's just a dock. No, it's just a docking station for it'll hold like laptop size SSDs or full size hard drives from like, internals.
Oh,
and it's got 2 slots on it, and you just plug it in USB. Yep.
Okay.
I think Best Buy sells one. That might have been where I got it, because it might be like Insignia or something. Yeah. But when I was working on computers, man, it was perfect, because you just rip out it's like when people would be like, oh man, my hard drive's fucked up, but you can blank it and start over with new Windows, but try to get my pictures or whatever. Made things so much damn easier.
I honestly ain't too worried about it. And I hope that freaking strip doesn't look that shitty on the desk. We'll find out. It's like it could. I know that people go nuts with like putting lights and shit on the back of their desk and screwing shit in. My desk, whatever I got, I don't have the IKEA stuff that everybody got, but what I got is actually a flippable. It's different colors on depending on which side of the table you use.
Oh, so yeah,
let's see. Over. Yeah. So I got something that I think it might be close to those cherry desks behind me. Although I ain't too picky on the color. I just don't want it to look ghetto. I don't think it will. So many people were just using just the fucking tabletops. It's like, okay. I guess you have to, because, you go looking for desks. It's like, what kind of idiots are freaking, who are they making this desk for?
Oh, and they're super expensive too.
Yeah. A nice office type, $500. It's starting.
Yeah. And it's like, they're never exactly what you want either. Like you get one that's close enough to what you want. Because for the longest time back in the day, I had one. It was a corner desk, and it was a big fucking corner desk. But it was great in the room I had it set up. But once we moved, it was like, well, it doesn't make any sense, because then it has to be in a corner.
Yeah.
And it was fucking massively huge. It had a lot of desk area.
Did it have a hutch on it too? Because hutches was a thing.
Yep. It had a massive hutch. It was made for like old CRT monitors. So like even with flat screens, it's like it'd probably look weird.
Yeah.
And it was great, but it was like, it really cut down on where you could put it. And then after we moved here, I was like, screw it. I got an armoire for a while. One of those armoire desks where you could open it up, because I had it in the den. And then I finally just said fuck it and hooked it up to the TV and was like, this is going to be my freaking new desk, the freaking TV stand right in front of it.
Yeah.
Be super lazy.
Yeah. It's just of course we've already talked about that. I think when we was talking about the old retro PCs, but we're gonna have a little big box to throw your damn PC in. It's like, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's fucking set that so much at 9,000 degrees in there.
I remember that. It's like they all had like a little cubby hole, and it was like I remember I ended up putting on that big massive corner desk I had. I actually had the tower right next to me, like because it had so much room up there that I cleared out one of the cubbies, and it was like it kind of like all came together. And I was like, because I knew if I put it down in that little cubby hole, I was like, it's just gonna get fucking hot as shit. I mean, there's like no point.
My when I get the L's put together, I want to put it at the very corner. That's where I want to put the tower, so it'll get it off the ground. Which is another reason I want some stupid RGB shit of some sort, so it'll look good in the centerpiece over there. But a lot of fucking money. I've spent over $100 on cable management shit right now. I don't have anything yet, but it's coming. And then the filing cabinets, because if I'm having an L. And so you need 4 filing cabinets. And I'm getting. They look nice. So I hope when everything's on them, it looks nice. But they were 90. Even like a piece of shit one, at least from Amazon, was $70.
It's gonna cost you something.
Yeah. And then they're the metal type of filing cabinets. So they have that cling sound, but you don't ever hear that fucking sound anyway. But they're black. They're black. So.
Dude, I remember back in the day, I always had like a little two shelf one of a filing cabinet because I would literally keep stuff from school and freaking computer stuff work in there all the time. Or because you had to have all that shit. You never knew when you were going to need the fucking motherboard manual because you couldn't just go online and be like, what jumpers do I need to move and shit like that.
I'm feeling you, man. That's what I had in mind. And then a printer, because usually the printer was big. Well, hell, they're still big and bulky and stupid. I got the printer right now in that goofy ass turntable box that Daddy had. It's not goofy. I've changed my mind. It's fucking amazing. Fucking glass turntable to put your shit in. It does not keep the shit from getting dusty though. It gets dusty inside of it. But hey, we can put that dumbass printer in there, so I don't have to look at it most of the time. So I don't get pissed off and actually we need to print something. My ink's dried up, of course. It's just fucking...
Oh yeah. That's like every time I go to print something, I hardly ever print. Most of the time it's shipping labels, and I always have to remember, like, is it even installed on this computer? Because the kids usually print off stuff way more than I do.
For schoolwork.
And I would be like, oh crap, how do I print off this printer again? Because they're all online now, so it's like you just be like, oh yeah, which printer is it? Last time I went to go print something, I sent it to a printer we don't even have anymore. So it's
you would think that universal plug and play, you just plug this. No, fuck no. It's like you need to sign up to the HP, and then you have to get you're like, hey, bro, would you like to hear about how we're going to rip your ass off on ink every few minutes? We'll send you one all the time.
Every month, man. They'll send it to you every month because we got that fucking plan. It's like this damn subscription service to fucking printer ink, That's like mom and dad's printer. Every time I have to like change like the network or something, you have to run the install software. You can't just go in there and tell it like, oh, the network's changed or something, like if their router goofs up. Like you literally have to run the install software every single time, and it's just a freaking ordeal. It just drives me nuts.
Is it not? Would that not be the most stupidest thing, network and printing? Yeah,
pretty much. It's horrible, man. It's like it's just every time I have to do it, I have to go through the entire. And it basically is like you have to act like it's the first time you've installed the printer, even though it's like the network barely changed. I had to do it when their cable modem went out, and it was like I had to do the entire thing all over again. It's like, this is stupid. It's like why can't I just go in here and tell it like this is a new like WPS key or whatever.
Windows took over search programs. Google. So we used to have 1,000 search programs. Some of them suck, but then Google. But there was never that thing that took over HP that says, "Oh, well, just plug in your fucking printer and it works." No. We gotta deal with hell.
Yep. That's like back in the day when it was like you'd have to register their site just to get drivers off of it. It'd drive you nuts. So I'd be working on somebody's computer, and it'd be like, oh yeah, it's a total loss. You're gonna have to like, they'd be like, just format it and reinstall Windows. Because every once in a while you get somebody where it's like, dude, man, it hadn't been cleaned off in forever, and there's nothing on it I want. Just put a fresh install, fresh coat of paint on it. And you'd be like, have to go there to get the drivers, and it'd be like, you need to sign up and register with us to get these drivers, and just stupid shit, And they were all bloated, because they wanted to put the software on there, drive you freaking insane.
Eventually, like, want you to think, it's like, okay, your $60 printer is a piece of shit. Would the $100 one work? Would the $100 one preserve your ink? Oh fuck, no.
Yeah, man. What about this $120 one? It's even better. Save all shit, man. We had one time that it was cool because we got it. It had like it had a one ink cartridge that did everything. It was like no more black and white, and no more color ink cartridges. This one only takes one. All you have to do is and it was like they're inexpensive. It was like they're only $20 for this one ink cartridge, and you're like, oh great. It's like, except for the fact of like you got to replace it about every 5th page you print. It's like this was worthless. Ooh. It didn't last long. It's like I'm exaggerating, but it was one of those.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Last long. It was like this. It sounded awesome on paper until you realize that you had to replace it like every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's like this sucks.
So yeah, I need 4 filing cabinets. So that's a shit ton of money, man. And but hey, it better not suck. Everybody else is doing it, so I'm gonna do it too.
Yeah, get in on the ground floor, man. It's like next week they'll be doing cardboard boxes.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but what it is that that 3 setup tier desk is just one monitor, man. One monitor is pretty much it. Or if you could fit 2 on it, but the desk itself has like this sort of like at the bottom, there's like a little board, and it like loops in. So you're designed to sit in the middle of it. It's like you can't. So if you sit on the edge, it's like it's kind of like sitting in a chair at a table and you freaking got a leg up in your ass. And so yeah, we'll eventually. I don't really need 2 monitors as far as the actual games. I don't really believe in that, or 2 or 3. But I have the dual PC recording set up, and so it's just it's helpful as fuck. Otherwise, I got to turn and look and see, is my volume on right versus the game and shit like that. And there's been plenty of videos. I sit there and I've done a bunch of work, and I realize I fucked it up. Like the damn recording we did. One of the podcasts.
That one whole thing where it was scrapped.
Yeah, and it's something I probably could have realized had I had that monitor constantly where I could see it easily. But first world problems, man. That's all that shit is.
You just got to figure out what type of wood you're gonna put on top of it.
I've got something, man. I forgot what the fuck they are. Amazon had them. Like I said, you could flip them suckers around. Oh, it's stuff that's designed for those standable desks.
Oh, I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah. There's like they're mechanized electronic things where you can just press a button and like the whole desk will move up so that you can stand on it. And then they have special things to keep your cables and shit moving with you too. But it's pretty much what those tabletops were designed for. I was literally going to get the exact things the YouTubers were talking about where from IKEA. And then the shipping was like is the same fucking price as what I was ordering. It was It was like $99 for shipping. And then,
dude, you just got to go up to IKEA and buy it.
I'm lazy as fuck. I didn't want to do it. But then when they said, I also thought that they probably wouldn't have what I'm picky as fuck, so they probably wouldn't have what I wanted there, and they would have to ship it to the store. And then they were talking about shipping was going to be October 22nd. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's like $100.
$100 shipping for a fucking month for half late, and like. You take your IKEA piece of shit. I know it's piece of shit.
For freaking Sweden.
That's the definition of IKEA is piece of shit. But whatever's, man. We gonna do Amazon, and to find anything on furniture is like a shit show on Amazon, dude. It's
the most inflated price of anything is furniture and clothing always. So
yeah, the prices are outrageous. And it's like just shit quality. As I know, you're just selling me particle board shit. They call it enhanced wood, sir.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It was once wood before we chipped it up and glued it together. It's like, don't spill a drink on it. It will return back to powder. It's all like that's all that particle board, man.
Yeah. And so we'll see. By the time it's like nearly $400 for them fucking 4 filing cabinets, and then it was like it's like I think like 90 and 80 for the 2 desks, but the freaking L is going to be ginormous when I get it. And so, and I'm guessing, I'm hoping that one L, the 72 inches, should be no problem with them 2 filing cabinets. It should be, I don't need to brace it in the middle. I hope I don't. I'm not going to sit on the damn table or anything, but we'll see.
Heavy monitors, man. Old CRTs.
I don't know how we gonna get rid of that shit, dude. I ain't going back either. You can't make me. I was there, dude. My monitor had to fucking warm up to look good.
I remember that.
Yeah.
They made them noises, and they'd crackle and pop after you turned them off every once in a while. You remember that? And you'd be like, what the fuck? You'd be sitting there at night going to sleep, and you'd fucking hear them crack and pop in the middle of the night.
Yeah. When it was, because they would, damn it, what's that shit? I can't even remember my CRT tech where they would flush the screen. Yeah, flush the screen to avoid, degauss it to keep it from getting the burn in. So that's what those noises were.
Yep.
Linus Tech Tips. Hey, I seen something today. It just came out a couple of days ago. And it was like it looked like a fucking curved, large ultra wide CRT. I'm like, what the fuck is this that he had? He said he paid $6,000 for it, and it came from back in 2008. So it's some kind of weird legacy shit. And I'm looking at it, and he's able to pick it up. I'm like, that fucking little guy cannot pick up no CRT.
It must be hot. It's like I just remember like even like a 32 inch was like damn insanely heavy.
It was like 3 feet wide, and I'm like, he did not pick that sumbitch up.
I don't know, man. Maybe it was like special technology back in the day where they figured out how to make it like not weigh as much with the glass.
Not the HDD, because those high definitions were even worse. The high definition TV I had, it was there was the Sony Wega of some sort.
Yeah,
remember that shit? It was 250 pounds, and that was only 34 inch. It was a trick though. So Linus had a fucking DLP, and as soon as he said that, I'm like, oh fuck, that's just bringing back too much damn hard memories, man. I don't want to talk about the goddamn DLP. DLP was a piece of shit.
That's like plasmas. The freaking input delay on plasma was just insanely bad. Like LED was bad, but
yeah,
the plasma I had was horrible. Like it's like, and anything composite was like almost non-playable because it would look so bad.
The plasma one, the smallest. Most people got the smallest plasma because they got really big real fast. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
But the smallest one, and I cannot remember the dimensions. I don't know if it was a 46 or not. They weren't true 720. They were some kind of off shit. So they're like 5 something or another. And they just I forgot how they got that shit to make it. It would take a 720 signal, but it was actually 5.
Yeah, so you modified it.
Yeah, so you're looking at a non-standard resolution on a freaking TV that would need a static same resolution. So you're trying to get 720, you're not going to get it. But DLP was even worse, man. And so remember that was one that used basically it was like some kind of mirror-based thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, they were you could get a very big one cheap compared to the plasma or LCD. The LCDs were small. Remember, they would be like 37 inches, and they would be like $3,000, and they would look like shit.
But it'd be like we can do 1080p. Whereas those plasmas would be like they'd max out at 720 even when they actually hit 720.
Yeah, and then so the DLP, I was looking at the DLP. It's like, dude, that freaking DLP is the way to go. This is before I knew about input lag. But on top of the input lag, the big thing was, remember the bulbs would blow up on them.
Yep.
And the bulb replacement was $250. Because one of my guys at work, he had one. So as soon as I touched it, the lag got to me. And I didn't understand what the fuck was going on, but I later figured it out. But
it's like, why am I so bad at this?
Yeah. He kept playing it, and he had to replace that bulb like 3 or 4 times, man. It was just. But the thing that Linus had, this freaking widescreen curved ultra wide range shit, it was 4 DLPs stacked together. That's how the shit worked. I'm like, that's 4 fucking bulbs. That's immediately what I thought. I was like, this shit's gonna. He's paid a lot of money for it, for like being some kind of rare novelty antique. He's like, yeah, you managed to get that new, even though it's like 10 years old. That thing's a piece of shit. That thing's a piece of shit. It's like, had it been a CRT, that would be something cool and retro to have. But your DLP is like, yeah, I don't care, man. That's trash. Yeah. That's like an Atari 5600 or whatever. It's thrown in the garbage. It's done. It's a piece of shit.
It's like, just get you a 7800. It's way better.
Some crazy monitors, man. Yeah, I sit there every CES, I look at that crazy shit they're going to come out with, and they get wide-eyed about, oh, this shit's going to, I can't wait, it's changing the world, and it fucking never comes out. As far as I'm concerned, damn HDMI 2.1 might not even exist, not if it's in a fucking $20,000 set. It's just...
Oh, that's like curved TVs. It's like, I mean, I still see them every once in a while, but it just never caught on.
3D TVs.
Well, I had a 3D TV, and that thing just gave me a headache. It was cool for about 5 seconds, and then it'd be like, this ain't cool no more.
So it was 3DS bad?
Yeah, it was about like that. Like, it would look cool for a minute, but like you wouldn't want to watch a whole movie that way.
Yeah.
Or at least I didn't. I was like, yeah, I can live without this.
I watched the new Star Wars in 3D. I thought I like the 3D for that, but I'm like, do you want to, like, everything you do you want to watch that shit in 3D? I'm like, no.
Yeah. I remember it was a Sony TV, and I remember it had the glasses that had to have a battery in it. So every time I went to go use it, I had to put a new battery in them probably.
Oh, that sucked. I didn't know you needed a battery in them.
It depends on what 3D glasses you had. Sony had some that like they required batteries, and they did good. It's like I don't even know where those glasses are at now that I think about it, because we still have that TV in the bedroom. But anyway, I remember like it could simulate 3D on other things, so you could try to play like Mario in 3D, like if you really wanted to. And I remember getting drunk one night and loading up. Yeah, it was fake 3D, and I was playing Final Fantasy VII in fake 3D and drinking at the same time, and it was like, this is an acid trip. I mean, it was just like a mess. It was neat that it could do it, but like it didn't do it well. You know, it was a novelty at that point.
Dude, that 3DS, you went to even having to look at it a certain way. You could gauge the 3D up and down. It just made me sick.
Yeah, I remember like it was one of those like it's certain games, like I remember Link's what was the one that was Link Faces of Evil or whatever? What was the one that was technically the
shit? I can't Link
Between
Two Worlds. I think.
Yeah, that was it. And I remember like looking at it and I'm like, oh, it actually looks kind of cool if you angle it just right and you set the slide just right. But once they came out with that 2DS XL, it was like, well, it doesn't have the 3D, and it's like, who gave a shit about that?
Did you get that for your son? I can't remember. Or was it your cousin got it, or the 2DS?
Heather got one. My daughter ended up getting one.
Okay.
She ended up getting the X. She traded her original 3DS in at GameStop, and when they were having some promotion thing, and ended up getting the 2DS XL, which was basically, it wasn't the one that didn't close. It was the one that closed just like it. But
it did close. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, they did it literally all it was a 3DS minus the 3D part, but it was the XL version that you could open and close with the clamshell.
So that sounds like the best version period then to me. Was the new one when it was like the play the exclusive games,
and it didn't play it didn't have the new one. You remember the one that they did, the new one that had like the extra button that was pretty much goddamn useless. I think it worked on a couple of games like Majora's Mask, but like really wasn't that anything special. I think the one you were thinking about was the 2DS, where it didn't close and it it didn't have the 3D, and they price pointed it like $80 or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good price, but the clown is so fucking helpful.
Oh yeah, because you can put it in your pocket and walk around with it, and
Yeah.
that's the one she got, and it was like way cooler, as far as that, because it looked good. Like it was, it just didn't have the part.
Now the 3DS XL had the on the bottom screen. It was big enough that you could see between between the pixels, and so it had that damn it, I forgot what the fuck that's called. It's all up in VR. You could see between the pixels, so it had like these kind of bars.
Yeah.
Did that 2D XL, did that have that, or do you remember?
I remember a little bit. I only played hers briefly because I was messing around with it. I seem to remember being able to see that still though. But like I said, it's been a minute. The only time I even play my 3DS is when I go back and play the Castlevania games, the DS games.
Yeah. I bet you that probably 10 years from now, that's going to be worth a lot of money because there's great shit on 3DS.
Oh yeah.
I sent you that picture of what the freaking Shimigami costs, right? Wasn't it like $200 or some fucking thing?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? Atlas tax, man, to the nth
exactly.
degree.
You got to pay that money for it. You know what's funny is some of those old 2DS games. Let me double check on eBay, but because I was doing some eBay stuff the other day, and I was curious about what was the third one, Order of Ecclesia, and I was like, I wonder how much that's going for, and I think it was like $100, like complete, and I was like, dude,
and you're talking about used. Not sealed.
Not sealed. I just sold my copy of Chrono Trigger on DS. Because my nephew had borrowed it and I got it back from him, and I was just kind of like throwing some stuff on eBay, and I'm like, I'm never going to play this again. If I do, I'm probably going to play it on Super Nintendo. And I was looking, and it was like $80 for like a complete used copy.
So you're selling that shit for like what the original Super Nintendo one used to go for.
Exactly, and it's like, holy crap, man! I remember like I bought that thing brand new like a few years ago for like $29.99 at some store. They had some left over, you know.
Yeah. Was that a DS or a 3DS? I think it was.
It was
DS.
DS.
Right? Oh. Wow.
It was still DS. So, I mean, it came out like a minute ago. God, now I'm curious about that Order of Ecclesia because it's like, you know, like when you put stuff on eBay, it'll be like showing you other stuff, and it was like, holy crap, that's yeah. It's like it was insane. Oh, like for instance, right here, it's like very good complete condition of Order of Ecclesia. Buy it now, $95.
Oh, that's fucking ridiculous.
Cartridge only is only $55.
Oh, fuck you. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. It would be more work on Konami's part. That's why it's not going to happen. But did they not call... Hang on. Let me look. Did they not say that Castlevania Collection was Castlevania Collection Volume 1?
Yes.
So there's going to be a Volume 2. You know what they need to put on Volume 2? We go right to immediately. I just type in
somebody's got Chrono Trigger brand new for $69.95. Somebody's actually got sealed ones on here, and that's the thing is like that game they made a billion copies of it, but right below it says trending price of the cartridge only is like $50. I mean, it's like crazy.
The Steam ones just says Anniversary Collection. As far as Castlevania,
I want to say it said Volume 1 on.
That's what I thought too.
Was that digital only, or didn't they release like some physical copies of it?
I don't remember. But did I delete? Did I just get out of my? No, it's still up. Collection Volume 2. Well, people are searching for it.
Yeah, that's what I just saw.
Steam community. Well, we're on our own fucking wish list, Chief. But I'm just sitting there thinking, dude, if they need to take the because the Castlevania Anniversary Collection had some Game Boy shit on it. It's like you take all of the DS ones, especially the Soma one, even that, or what was it, Circle of the Moon, which wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And then there was one where you're like a Belmont, but you had, for some reason, you had the Vampire Ghost. It was the second one. I wonder if that was ever explained why the Belmont had the Vampire Ghost trail behind him. But you take those, you take Portrait of Ruin, freaking Donosoro. You take Order Ecclesia, and shit. Well, I'm gonna say it while I'm rubbing my nipples. Put Castlevania HD on there too, and then and watch that shit smoke. Fucking Konami, you idiots.
It's like that's the thing is on the DS ones they'd have to actually put together a little bit of effort to get the double screen thing,
the double
which
screen.
it wouldn't be hard.
Emulators do it, so
yeah, it wouldn't be hard, but it's more work than what they're going to do.
Yeah, man,
dude, you can get a complete version of Portrait of Ruin for $65.
Yeah, I don't need it. That game ain't that high. It ain't not $65. I liked it. It ain't $65.
I go back and forth between which one of those games I like the most. I liked all three of them probably equally.
I Shinoa one for me.
Ecclesia is probably my favorite. If it's one of those, like if I only had like one to pick from and I'm going somewhere, it'd be Ecclesia.
You had the difficulty, the music, the graphics. Shinoa's abilities are really cool. And we'll just pretend that goofy ass Dracula at the end where he's walking around like that. We just pretend that it's like, pretend that's not there. I remember
there was stuff in the other ones that I didn't like. The only thing I didn't like about Dawn of Sorrow was they included the touchpad with the boss fights.
Yeah, so do the dumb shit.
And I was like, that was lame. And then on Portrait of Ruin, there would be parts where you had to swap back and forth between characters. Like you remember the part on the with the little race cars.
Yeah, I remember something vaguely about that.
And it was just it's like it was neat, but it was just dumb stuff.
Gimmicky that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't guess you've ever played it, but that Uncharted game for Vita, it's loaded with gimmicks like that. Like Nathan would find a relic or something, and then you'd bring it up, and like I think you used the Vita motion because Vita's loaded down with shit. I don't know if you ever looked at it. You'd have to rub on the front and the back to clean up the artifact, and then there was all kinds of shit. And on top of that, playing a shooter with those little stub nubs, it sucked. It felt bad. Otherwise, that was a pretty good as far as story. Those games are always great, but it was gimmicky as fuck. But I'm thinking, man, that 3DS, that is such a tight system. That's so freaking good. All of those RPGs, all of the ports, tons of custom games for it. $70 million, and probably all them Pokemons are gonna be worth a gazillion dollars each one if they ain't already. I bet they probably are.
Yeah, they usually always held value. That's like the Game Boy Advance SP, like just skyrocketed in price over like the last couple of years. I still got my Nintendo one, the one that's actually like looks like the old school Nintendo.
Yeah.
But like the 101 model where they had the backlit screen, I mean those things are about like $100 now.
I couldn't play without a backlit screen. Now, did it have the ghosting? No, I think that even the Game Boy Color got rid of the ghosting. That Game Boy OG had that ghost at the motherfucker.
Yeah, the OG one was bad. The Pocket one wasn't quite as bad, but it was still there. But by color, it pretty much got rid of it.
The PSP, at least I know that I had the original version. I don't know if there was other versions of PSP. The PSP has a shit ton of ghosting too.
Yeah. I had the first version PSP. I still got one floating around here somewhere. It's like modded to hell and back.
My dumbass thought that you needed to take that disc out of the fucking. When I first got it, like you gotta take the disc out of this little plastic container. No,
No.
It's hard. Put the plastic container in there. Quit being an idiot.
I don't even know if mine reads the disc because I just freaking software modded it and just loaded everything on the memory card.
Yeah, playing the hack PSP is probably the way to go anyway.
It was easy to do, and you could just get a memory card adapter, and it was like it will play like all PS1 games. You just import them over.
And I'm assuming less load time too. I would assume, right?
Yeah, because it's coming off a chip, and it's like I would just load up games like the Castlevania. There was the Chronicles, I think they had on PSP.
Yeah,
it was a remake of Dracula.
I had that.
Not Dracula X, but the other one.
God, though, there's if you really look at it, there's so many remakes of Castlevania 1 that you've probably even played. There's like the arcade one, there's that Chronicles shit, and there's several more, and then there's like MSX computer ones. It's like
where he's walking real fucked up.
Yeah, he's got more than the pimp limp.
Yeah, he was pretty fucked up in that one. It looked better, but God, he walked like crazy.
Pimp disabilities. It's like, dude, the original PSPs had some tight shit too. Of course, those assholes never brought it over here. Final Fantasy Type Zero. I love Type Zero. I don't know if you ever played it.
I remember the name, but I never played it.
Type Zero was the custom made, like modern type Final Fantasy made for PSP. It did not come out for Vita and did not come out from PSP over here. They brought it, so it appeared on like PS4 and Xbox One. And so I love that game. That game is fucking great. It's one of those like, okay, it's a low budget game. You know, it's a portable game, but dude, it was great. It was fun. And then Final Fantasy 4 was redone for the PSP, and I think they brought that to Steam. But they have an actual legit sequel called Final Fantasy After Years or whatever it was. And I think that might have started off on DS. It might have been on DS or Wii or phones or some stupid shit. But they got it all together as one thing, and they put it on PSP. So you get the actual Japanese version. No, it's more than just the Japanese version of Final Fantasy IV, because they changed a lot they took a lot out of Final Fantasy, the Cecil one. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
They took a
Cecil
lot out of
it
too. Yeah, it took a lot out of the United States too. It's actually in 4. And so, like Cecil had different moves before. In the original 2, he's just got fighting items, but he had that down. When you go to be a paladin, you have to fight against the Dark Knight Cecil or whatever it is. He would have a special move, and like I ain't never seen that shit before. So he actually had that on the Japanese one. And there's several different things. It's more difficult too. They thought that us white people couldn't play this stupid shit, so they would dumb it down for us.
Yep.
But it's just like, but that PSP Final Fantasy After Years, that's damn amazing. They redone Final Fantasy 1 for PSP as well, and as far as I know, that was the latest version, unless they put it on phones. So they redid the graphics yet again. They rebalanced it yet again, and then they have like it has the Game Boy Advance levels on it, and then it has like brand new levels on it. And so like PSP's getting all this custom rare shit. And so why don't PS4 play it or PS5? Because they're assholes. They're straight up assholes. It should just play that shit.
They don't need that shit.
Yeah, I guess that's why that what PlayStation TV thing.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Remember like, Brian was costing it. It said it was like $150 or some crazy shit. Yep. I should have got it when it was $25. It's like because I would have figured out how to input lag, but if I think things from as a YouTuber's perspective, it's like that shit would automatically allow me to play like PSP and Vita games on fucking television, and record them, no problem. But I didn't.
I think my TV has that built into it. That Sony one I was talking about.
Yeah.
Because it had the, I remember you could sync PlayStation 3 and 4 controllers with it and use it as a controller for the TV.
Now I guess you put
I think it had the app in it.
Did you just put a thumb drive of the game on it? I don't know how that shit works.
I never tested it out, but it had the app in like the little app section of the TV. And I remember like I never got around to checking it out, but it was like PlayStation Now or something like that.
Oh, if it's just now, hopefully, it's PlayStation TV is what it was. But yeah, that thing's $150 because there's so many things. And then although Sony's during that age of PS3 and Vita and PSP, they were so stupid, dude. They weren't Nintendo stupid. They were so stupid. It's like you would need like a PlayStation 3 to get a PSP game to put on your Vita. It's like, okay, so you need 3 systems to play this shit. I don't know what the fuck you want to do.
I guess they thought somebody was going to buy all of it. You know what I mean?
I had all of it, but it's like, well, I didn't have the PSP, so I would want the PSP game and have to download it maybe buy it on Vita and then download it on PS3 and then transfer it to Vita by hooking it up. It was like, why? Why would you do this? This is something that's patently just stupid. It's just. But Vita's a great console. Besides the stub little nubs, I don't like them. Although I didn't particularly like the little stub on 3DS.
Yeah, I wasn't big on it. That's like when I go back and play the 2DS games, it's like I always use the directional pad. Yeah. I mean, it had a good feel to it. It's just I like directional pads better for, especially Castlevania games. That's like it's analog's just you got to be you need to be more precise in analog, you know.
And not only that, like Revelations, because that was the first game, system Revelations was Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there trying to use the bumpers for aiming and shit. Like this feels like shit balls.
Yeah. That was the thing is like I tried playing that on a 3DS when I got it because I'd already played Revelations on 360.
Oh, no, you can't. No,
and I was like, no, there's no way. There's no freaking way that you could do it. There was another one I got that was on 3DS also. It was Mercenaries, Resident Evil Mercenaries.
Yeah. And I was hoping that was good. That was the main reason I bought the 3DS. And you know what? It sucks.
Yeah, it was dumb. It was just a rushed version of Mercenaries from Resident Evil 5. It's all it was.
Really rushed and shitty. I was like, oh, you can be Claire. I'm like, you don't want to be Claire.
Like, you don't even want to be any of these people.
Hey, if they really went through and redid that, $60, it's just Mercenaries versus, I'd be all over that shit. We play the fuck out of it. Fuck this resistance shit, but they ain't gonna do that. Nope. They're trying to follow the trends instead of doing what the fans want. And
we'll make it like the Friday 13th game, except not good.
But that's Capcom. We've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yep.
You done or you?
I think I'm done.
Yeah.
I think I'll go find something to eat and go to bed.
Ice cream, man, and
yes.
I still want to do a podcast. I got a friend named Buzz. You never bet him, but we'll do like the kind of the next freaking Armageddon, we're doomed, SJW, freaking election, goofy shit. But sometimes you got to be in the mood, man. You got to be in the mood because that's just so depressing to talk about. But Buzz is like a big Trump retard fan, and I think you'll like him.